there's an article by Joanna Klein called Fighting the Gender Stereotypes That Warp Biomedical Research. And they say you are prescribed medication for depression, anxiety, or even just to sleep. Would you want to take it if you knew that the drug had only been tested on male and male animals? Rebecca Shansky, a neuroscientist at Northeastern University in Boston, thinks you might not. When she tells non-scientific audiences that researchers, for the most part, don't study female animals, people are blown away. She added, it seems like such an obvious thing to a normal person. But you come up in the academic and science world, it's like, oh no, females are so complicated, so we just don't study them. In 2016, the National Institutes of Health and its Canadian counterpart mandated that all preclinical research they fund must include female subjects. Now, Dr. Shansky and other scientists wondered if that requirement will do enough to improve how research is conducted. In an essay published Thursday in Science, Dr. Shansky questions whether simply adding female organisms to experiments or looking for sex differences misses the point. She warns that this is a public health problem and says scientists should design experiments better suited to both biological sexes. She says if scientists don't stop looking through a male lens, outdated gender stereotypes will continue to foster dangerous assumptions about the brain and behavior, resulting in clinical studies and eventual treatments that don't work equally for all people on the gender spectrum. So what is she saying? She's saying we have to treat the sexes differently so that we can treat the sexes the same, is sort of where she is going. Now, what's hilarious about this, and the reason I'm pointing this out, is that it is obvious to scientists of all stripes that males and females are different. And yet we are told by our media betters that males and females are exactly the same, except for the fact that there are gender stereotypes that have been placed on males and females. Now, I am all for more scientific studies about what exactly is the biological basis for differences between males and females. But a science that fails to take into account those differences and instead ignores those differences on behalf of crap science, like suggesting that male and female are cultural constructs and that gender stereotypes are responsible for the vast majority of differences between men and women, it is just ascientific nonsense. And when we study the animal kingdom, we all know this, because there are no social constructs in the animal kingdom. And yet scientists very obviously treat male and female animals differently, as well they should, because they are different. The fact that the media are now recognizing that it was sexist to only perform experiments on male animals, I don't know how sexism can coexist with the idea that there is no such thing as biological sex. If there's no such thing as biological sex, and gender is really what we should be looking at, self-identification as gender, then how is sexism even an issue? It isn't really, because what exactly is there's no biological basis for the quote-unquote stereotype.